Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 222 of the Sticks and the Six podcast. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Forbes, here with my co-host, Peter Baracchini. And Peter, there are lots of question marks in Leafland this week as they close out an abysmal homestand, an absolute abysmal homestand against a playoff team in the Buffalo Sabres. We're going to get into all that in just a moment. But before we do, how you doing this week, my friend?
Doing great, man. Yeah, I mean, like you said, just like 2 weeks ago, we were all like, okay, are the Maple Leafs for real? Let's see how things go. They're riding high, and then they come out with this 0-4-1 homestand. And I know you try to be optimistic about everything and saying that maybe the Maple Leafs were going to push, and I felt the same way too. But man, it just doesn't sound or seem possible that this team could win 7 or 6 of their last 8 games and then go 0-4 on a homestand, which was very, very critical for them to maintain their spot in the standings. And now they're back at square one.
Yeah.
And they got little room to work with right now. So now it kind of feels like, I mean, if viewers are watching, you're going to see, are the Maple Leafs going to be buying or selling? This is going to be reflecting on that too. We're going to be like, I don't want to get too much into that, but it kind of feels like the Maple Leafs are going in one direction right now, and it's not the direction that they want to go down.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy part is this is going to be the first time in a long time that the Leafs are heading into the deadline with so many question marks. Like, you don't know which direction they're going.
Yeah.
Ideally, you would say that they're at a point where they probably need to sell, but at this point, they don't have first-round picks. They don't. So, I mean, realistically, even if you sell, you're not guaranteed a great draft, which is exactly what you want to do when you're going to hit rock bottom and needing to sell. So that's a frightening part for the Leafs. We talked about it last week. Every game was a must win. Every conference game was a must win, and every divisional matchup was an absolute must win. And credit to the Buffalo Sabres, who have done extremely well since Kevin Adams was fired.
Yeah.
And there was conversation about could he be up for like GM of the year even though he was fired? And it's definitely it's certainly a good question. I mean, like he's the guy who built this team, and now they're going on this run. They're
Without him.
Without him, they're third in the Atlantic Division, looking for their first playoff berth in 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
And he's sitting at home now, not the GM of the Buffalo Sabres, but the team that he built is possibly going on a playoff run and looking great. Like that's what I want to say. They don't take anything away from what Buffalo did.
No, not at
all.
all.
They showed the Leafs what you need to be a playoff team, and right now the Leafs aren't a playoff team, and they're nowhere near the Buffalo Sabres in terms of overall talent and what they're going to do on the ice.
They're playing to win. They're playing desperate hockey as if everything is on the line for them. And that's the same as everybody else. Obviously, Tampa Bay's got a little bit more firepower with Kucherov and everybody, Point, Hagel. But for a team like a Buffalo Sabres, where at the beginning of the year, it kind of felt like things are going south again, where you have that start, you wonder if Tuck is going to be moved, if Thompson's going to be moved, and then both are firing on all cylinders. Rasmus Dahlin looks absolutely on a whole other page right now. They're getting contributions throughout the lineup too. Jack Quinn looks absolutely fantastic. Noah Ostlund, all their rookies and young players are starting to step up and make an impact. Everything's coming together for them. And for a veteran team like the Maple Leafs, you got to show and assert your dominance, and they have yet to do that consistently against any opponent whatsoever. And the fact that they continue to play catch up, play the way that they're playing. This is not a playoff type hockey team where they've been down this road before. They know what it takes to make the playoffs. But now you're starting to see that mindset creep in where, everything that they do is not good enough. And that's been the big mantra for this team in the playoffs is everything is not good enough with the way that they played. And, I thought Craig Berube's comments post-game was very telling that I know, like, I think he's getting to that frustrated point again where he's just like, I know this team. I know what they're capable of. We got to just get it together. But at the same time, again, how many times can you say what you're saying, the players what they're saying, and actually act on it and mean what they say? It's been too long. And now that the fact that everything is snowballing in the regular season as opposed to it is in the playoffs, that to me is really concerning. And the fact that that's happening right now at this juncture of the season, they're basically in a lot of trouble if they don't get things together.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the crazy part is, so touching on your comment with what Berube said. So I've at least went 0-4-1 on the homestand. Okay, miserable homestand after a
That's
decent,
a light way of putting it.
Yeah, after a decent road trip, they go 0-4-1 in their homestand and lose some key games, some key points in the standings. And this is what he went on to say. Until we decide to do things right and keep the puck out of our net, goalies included, this is what we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, straight to the point, right? Like that's what you want from a coach, especially one that looks like he took on a grizzly bear in the gym. But like, there's no more of a blunt way to put it, and you can't go into the playoffs or hope to go into the playoffs with that kind of effort, right? And that's the part that I think
you're asking to be swept with that kind of effort.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it was a tough homestand against some tough teams, right? Like you lose 6-3 to Minnesota, you lose 2-1 in a close game to Detroit that you could have had. Again, a divisional game, a conference game that you needed to win. You lose 6-3 with Marner coming back into town. Let's write that off to just more focus being on the storyline than preparation for the game. You lose 4-1 to Colorado, and then 7-4 to yet another divisional rival that you need to beat because they're sitting in a divisional spot right now.
And that 4-1 loss to Colorado, too, was a complete 180 of how they played in Colorado, which is even more of a tougher atmosphere to do.
And they have the majority of their lineup is still there. They're not hurt, right? Like,
yeah.
And I was reading a little bit more after our episode last week where we talked about Stolarz and wanting to be in the lineup for that game, and we talked about Berube. Was it Berube's decision? Was it Treliving's decision? I guess from what I'm reading, Stolarz pushed hard to get back into that game, and but again, like at a certain point, who's it's the same in any workplace. Who's the manager? You don't let the minions. Yeah, you don't let the minions run the show, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, they let Stolarz dictate where he wanted to be and what he wanted to do, and it didn't look good on the team. So that's unfortunate, but it's definitely something that they need to take a closer look at. Jordan, who's always checking us out on TikTok here, he joined the YouTube channel as well. He says, "Do you guys want to trade 34 and 88 and rebuild?" So I mean, you know what? Let's get right into the conversation, because right now we're talking buying and selling. We're talking the trade deadline. This is going to be the most interesting trade deadline the Leafs have seen in quite some time. And 34 and 88. There was an article that came out recently about there's fewer untouchables in the Leafs lineup than fans think. And in saying that, I think these are still two of them, right? Like, we're going to talk a little bit about Matthews' captaincy a little bit later on. So we will discuss that. But the idea of trading away a 26-goal scorer right now, who also had a terrible start to the season, and a guy who's, regardless of how long he's been out of the lineup, maintains his spot atop your points this season, I think it makes it tough. It makes it tough to trade away pieces like that. Now, Jordan, you also threw out an offer here: Matthews to Utah for Desnoyers, Hayton, Simashev, and first. Who says no? I think you just tempted Peter. So, Peter, I'm going to let you take that one away.
Man.
I'm going to let you take that one away real quick.
I don't know if Jay has read any of my draft stuff or looked at my rankings, because I had Desnoyers is my top 3 last year, and Utah took him 4th. I'm a huge Caleb Desnoyers fan. I know this is like everything that the Maple Leafs need, but I would probably say no and maybe ask for a little higher in
Interesting.
terms of Desnoyers, because Desnoyers, again, middle pivot, competitive, very has that winning mindset. Every level he's played at, he's won. And I agree. I agree with the comparison to, Jonathan Toews or even Patrice Bergeron too. He's got that competitive edge to him. And it showed during the World Juniors too, where that third line was absolutely great to watch. And he was a main part of that. I just feel like maybe you could have added a little bit more to that. But if there is a deal involved, I absolutely would ask for Caleb Desnoyers. 100%. Would I trade either 34 or 88 right now? If you do that, you're conceding everything.
Mm-hmm. And not just for this year. You're conceding everything for the next 3 to 4 years.
You're not even that, beyond that too, because you got very minimal draft capital right now. Seriously, I just don't understand how you could go after that right now and trade both of those guys. Yeah, you could get a great return. You could get a number of top prospects and picks, but you got to bank on those prospects being ready right now, because if you want it to be a quick fix, you got to get those guys that could come in and make an impact right now. I don't know if it's going to happen. Again, they got no move protection. It all falls on them. We'll see what happens, but I don't think you'll move on them. And I feel like there are more or other players, as Andrew mentioned, that there are more untouchables on this roster that you could look to get at least something in return, like the Boston Bruins did last year. Like you have a mini sell-off and then you reevaluate everything in the summer and come back ready for next year.
Maybe get some... Sorry, go ahead.
No, because I was about to say, if you do that, then you could reassess everything and then plan everything afterwards. But I think right now they should be looking at next season.
Well, yeah, and I think too, like you maybe, like you said with the Bruins, maybe get a few extra pieces. Like the Bruins got off the Leafs and Fraser Minton, and then in the offseason went and got Alex Steves, two key players in what the Bruins are doing so far this season. We're gonna kind of run through the comments section here because we got a lot of good live comments going and a lot of interesting ideas. Mr. Magic, who takes most of the blame so far? Make a pie chart. GM, coach, and players. Man, can we do like 50, 50, 50? Like, I know. Anyways,
I was gonna do 75% the players, 20% GM. Where is that? My math is not good. What is that? 95?
Yeah.
5% the coach.
Yeah. I'd say you're pretty close. I would say maybe 65, 25, and 10. 65 players because the injuries have added up throughout the season.
That's true.
The GM just has not done the job, especially like moving Marner in the offseason. That was a big hole to fill, and I think there was other pieces that they could have gone and got. But, I mean, he's also been left with a team that was decimated in terms of draft capital and prospect potential. So
I was also just going to throw this out there, too. Even if the Maple Leafs decide to keep Marner and they moved on from, let's say, Nylander, who's to say this wouldn't happen with Marner in the lineup?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Hindsight is 2020. You 100%. Can't predict the future, unfortunately. But if everything is happening with Marner in the lineup right now, we're still having the same conversation regardless. And I know that we're going to put the whole Mitch Marner talk behind us because everyone is saying, oh, the Maple Leafs could use Mitch Marner. Even if we did, and they're still playing the same way, then we're saying we could have used William Nylander.
We got a comment here about our facial hair and being patchy. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you got a bad angle. Maybe there's a glare on your screen, but there's no patchiness here, my friend. So
I don't know. I've been trimming and keeping it nice and clean. So you know what?
Yeah, you don't want to see me with a shaved face. I haven't shaved in many years, and I don't think I've had an issue with it. So, anyways, Jordan, back to Jordan. Nylander, this one I wouldn't take. No question, I would not take this.
No.
Nylander to Ottawa for Greg. I don't want Greg anywhere near my team.
Early Greg is enemy number one right now.
Yeah, Zetterlund, Hensler, and Buffalo second. Who says no? I say no. I don't see that one happening, but it was a solid attempt. Basically, right now, Jordan, like I would argue that you cannot trade Matthews or Nylander because then you're throwing in the towel, like Peter said, for an extended period of time. And if you throw in the towel for an extended period of time, you don't have like a Boston or like a Chicago or one of those teams where you have a high draft pick over the next couple of years. that would help you turn it around faster than you'd expect.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. That's the issue that you have if you go that route. I agree with Mr. Magic here. You can get a lot from Matthews, even Matthews with the worst facial hair. Whatever. This guy's obsessed with facial hair.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Matthews is good when the pressure doesn't fall on him. So this is an interesting comment because I don't know if you remember our conversation with the sheriff.
Yeah.
When the first thing he said when he jumped on, and the first
yeah.
thing he said was Matthews is not the guy. He's not the primary guy. He needs somebody needs to be in front of him. Somebody needs to play with him, but he's not going to run your team. And that was what, 2 seasons ago?
Yeah.
2 seasons ago we had Sean the Sheriff McMorrow on. So if you don't know who he is, look him up. Fantastic dude, lot of energy.
Yeah.
It was a hell of an episode. And one of the first things he said when he jumped on was that Matthews wasn't the guy. So that's always kind of stuck with me. So that comment is definitely interesting. Jordan again, Dane YA reminds me of Taves. Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
Post my comments, Grizzly Adams. No thanks. There's a reason why guys like Marshawn Stamkos and ROR left aren't leased right now. I mean, yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit with the Matthews leadership, I guess. Gary, longtime viewer, Gary. Where's the fans blame? Where's the fans blame?
Can you really blame the fans though?
Man, they're paying $500-$600 a ticket. At this point, I give fans almost free reign.
Yeah, like at this point, you're pushing like over 50 years without a championship. You've only won 2 playoff rounds in this current era. How are fans supposed to react?
Yeah,
are they just supposed to, or like fans like yourself, are you supposed to just sit by and be like, oh, you know what? It is what it is, kind of thing? No, like at some point, the fans are going to be heard by this organization, and eventually there should be something from the top down that they need to find the change. And I just used to see Gary saying that it was meant to be funny.
Yeah, Gary followed that up.
I mean,
thanks, Gary.
Fair enough. Okay, so you know what? I will, if it was all just in good jest and fun, I will not go into depth with that, Gary.
In saying that though, we've got a viewer here, Habs Absolutely Hockey. Blame the fans for running the guys out of town. We had this conversation last week, and I'll stand by what I said. And Habs Absolutely Hockey, I appreciate you tuning in and the comments. We appreciate the comments. We love chatting with fans of all different clubs. Man, like it's that's the fan base anywhere though. Anywhere you go, like yes, Toronto is centered around that, and the fans take a lot of heat as well because they are more vocal on whatever social media in person at the games. But as a Habs fan, you should see the same stuff going on in Montreal, and I believe there are fans in Montreal that have the same feeling about guys who've either left town or been chased out of town. Like
same with Edmonton too. And even if you look at the New York Yankees for baseball too, like even this past season with the playoffs, the amount of fan hate I was seeing online too. And don't get me wrong, I'm so happy the Jays won. But at the same time, if you can't handle the pressure, then why are you playing the sport? There's going to be criticism. And that's the one thing that we even talked about with like the whole Mitch Marner thing, how, he was constantly reading everything that he was seeing and being fed to him by his family. At some point, you just got to block that out and be like, you know what? No more. I'm done. Don't even tell me anything. Let me do my thing. That to me is a little bit more genuine and putting yourself forward instead of having your mental health take that kind of toll with all that pressure. So to me, I get it. There is always that talk that fans run players out of town. But at the same time, it's just like the players are pro athletes for a reason. They play this game. They know that there's going to be fans watching them. They know there's going to be criticism. They need to be ready for it.
Mr. Magic, what other time has there been a team that took the C off a veteran player and gave it to someone else? San Jose did the exact same thing.
Yes.
So San Jose did it, and there was a lot of
there was a lot of heat for that too.
There was a lot of heat for it. They took it from they took it from Marlowe, and I believe gave it to Thornton at the time. Was that? I believe that was the case. So I mean, it has happened. It's not uncommon. I'm sure there's one I'm missing too where it's happened prior, but it certainly does. It throws a wave through the room.
Yeah.
I think we'd be crazy not to admit that, and I think we need, should they have kept Tavares? Maybe, but we knew even prior to the season that the eventual move was to make Matthews a captain, and that was the goal.
Was the goal when they drafted him.
Now, in saying that, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that like that was the right call. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I don't know if it was the right call. Mm-hmm. There's still
a lot of what ifs.
A lot of what ifs, right? And we're in season 2 of him being the captain. There's going to be question marks. I think that's where the discussion starts, right? I owe it to this guy. I owe it to this guy to post one comment. So somebody please take Riley. I throw in Domi for free. I mean, you're gonna get something for Riley. You're gonna get something for Domi. It's not gonna be
what you think.
It's not gonna be the high draft capital that the Leafs need, but it's gonna be, you're gonna get something. And right now, the problem is right now Riley's got a no move clause, right? Yeah. He signed that 5-year deal? 7-year deal. He signed that 7-year deal with a no move clause specifically because he wanted to stay in Toronto. Does that change? Man, this guy's been here through the worst already. Like, he was here when the Leafs, rebuild prior to Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
So does he want to go? I can't speak for him to be a fly on the wall. I mean, that'd be great. But
again, I know we touched up on this probably last week or previously before, but I think Myrtle and Siegel were talking about this on their podcast, and I think maybe I will have to go back and double check on this, but I thought I saw somewhere where maybe they feel like the Maple Leafs are done with Riley and maybe still want to approach him about it. But again, if they don't, then what else can they do? The no move clause is there.
Yeah. Jordan also mentioned where was it? He said something about he agrees that with Leaf fans about Marner's situation, it wasn't working. Simple as that. Toronto should have moved him well before the no trade clause kicked in. If they wanted to change, they waited till and we talked about this last week, Jordan. I think you were on the show as well. We chatted about this. There's a lot more to the Marner situation than a simple, hey, we approached him at the deadline, wanted to move him, and he said no. There was animosity that extended far beyond, like, from the beginning of his entry-level contract with the Leafs to where he was 9 years later. So that's where it's at. It wasn't as simple as, like, Leafs could have traded him, didn't trade him, wanted to trade him, and then couldn't trade him. That wasn't the situation. It was much deeper than that. So Leafs and Habs have high pressure playing for those fan bases. If you can't play for high pressure team, then get traded. Simple, and don't be a part of the organized. You know what? And I agree, and that's why we've discussed Nylander multiple times. What he's able to do in a city like that and take the subway. I mean, you need players like that. It was the same with, like, you go back to the Raptors and the Red Rocket, Matt Bonner taking the subway in to games and just interacting with fans. Mm-hmm. That's what you need to have in those types of fan bases. I fully agree with you on that comment.
And then you just have him flip off the camera for no reason. Well, out of frustration. By the way, you know what? I want to get your take on that too, because I mean,
here's my take. Here's my take. No, honest to God, like, you want my take on the Nylander thing?
Yeah.
Can we all look at Twitter and see the Sergachev finger that he gave walking off the ice? Yeah, that was televised. How about Sean Durzi the other night in the penalty box, live on television,
and the fan giving the finger as well?
Yeah, you know what? DOPS should fine that fan $5,000.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget your ticket. You're paying $5,000 for giving the finger on national television.
Honestly, when I first saw that, I just couldn't stop laughing. I think everybody couldn't stop laughing when they saw that. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done it. Yeah, it's on live TV. But then again, like you mentioned, the whole Jersey thing, yelling the expletive from the box, the whole thing about Sergachev, it just seems like it's a double standard. If it was $5,000 maximum fine,
look,
then Jersey should be fined. Sergachev should be fined, not just Nylander. And he wasn't even playing. I get it, he was like frustrated, wanting to get out there, but at the same time, to me, to be honest, at some point, that to me is just nothing.
Okay, so for one, look at the comments in the on YouTube right now. We got a Montreal fan who says that Sergachev should have been fined too, which I agree.
Yep.
We got an Ottawa fan that said it was hilarious, which I agree.
Yep.
And Sean Jersey, not okay. And let me get this straight. I don't have an issue with it. Mm-hmm. I don't have an issue with the initial flip of the bird. I don't have an issue with Sergachev doing it. Yeah. I don't have an issue with Sean Jersey yelling from the penalty box,
it's
F you, F you, F you, and then calling him an F and P, like pussy. Like, I don't have that happens in the game at times. I'm not saying it's right, but it gets heated. You see it in all sports. You see it in both sides of sports. You see it all the time. But you set a standard, and that's the difference. The DOPS set a standard on what they believe is finable. Even if it's $5,000, you set a standard, and you came out. When does George Peros comment? Never. And he comes out and he does a comment on somebody flipping the bird from the press box, and this is why it's because it's on national television. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, it's on national television. Then do the right thing and be consistent, because now you're going to be held to that standard as well. The problem is nobody's holding him accountable for him doing his job.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about just consistency in this aspect of it. We're talking about consistency across the board.
Yeah.
Boarding has become a legal hit. High hits. We talked about the Marchand chicken wing on Mike Matheson. That should have been suspendable.
Ryan Russ got 3 games without a suspension history for Brock Besser. You probably should have got 1 or 2. It was dangerous.
Absolutely.
But like beyond that, like where's the consistency? Where does that lie? And we've been talking about this years and years and years. No consistency. That is the thing. George
Peros is an unsaturated potato. That's one name for him, but whatever you want to call him. Even the guy who doesn't like our beard said he loved it.
Yeah.
There you go. So anyways, what's your take on it, Pierre? Because like for me, it was
nothing.
1, it should have been finable. 2, he came out right away after and said, you know what, I apologize, I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
It was a dumb move, sure. You had some clowns on social being like, this shows a lack of leadership and maturity, and I'm like, are we really going to deep dive? This is the problem. He's got like all these overthinkers on social media that just come out and say whatever the heck they want to say.
Yeah, I mean, do you know how many times I hear the F-bomb dropped, the middle fingers given to people left, right, and center, just out in the street alone? I get it's not publicized, but that seems like a normal occurrence, a normal reaction from anybody.
But
then again, too, during the whole Jays run, John Schneider, all the players dropping F-bombs left, right, and center on live TV. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sportsnet got the fines as well because they weren't expecting that. But you know what? It's natural to swear. Like, let's be realistic. We've seen that, and even so, like the emotion for that too. Like, it was dumb. It was funny. I think the majority of the consensus, every single time I saw that, everybody was laughing, and the fact that Nylander had a smile on his face just made it even more funny.
Yeah. Great Lakes Van Life says Tree Living needs to sell. Goes on to say Nylander needs to read the rink. Spike 10111 says it does. Nylander is still a man-child. Okay, this goes back to what we just talked about, though, about being able to play in the atmosphere of a Toronto or Montreal market. Do you not think that he just goes out there and, like, tries to put on a show for media. Like
He does his own
the
thing.
shirtless interviews, the you know the subway trip in, I mean even given the finger, like I don't know. Like I watch hockey with my kids too. If they ask me what that is, I'll be a parent and explain it. I saw one guy say, "Well, I was watching with my kid. This is absolutely abysmal. The NHL, blah 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 blah." Like, so then be a parent and explain it to them. Hey, we don't use that on a regular basis, but when Daddy drives by somebody driving terribly on the road, he might do it every once in a while. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
Yep.
be a parent. That's your job. Anyways, the other thing I want to say about it was, I lost it. No. Yeah. Okay, on X, somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody came out and said if this was done on like, the prime docu-series for the NHL, this would be in the trailer. Do you
Yeah.
not agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you not agree that if they caught that moment while recording for this show, that all of a sudden it'd be more of a conversation point about how great this trailer is, with Nylander being, not diving into the regular cliches that you're getting from hockey players?
I mean, I got a front row view and screening of the first episode, and Nylander swore left, right, and center on the ice. You know the scene where they're barking Matthews Marner on the bench? Stop fucking crying, bro. Basically, all that. That was essentially like, yeah, if it's made available for a docuseries, it's technically public out there, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a live broadcast or not, it's easily accessible right now, and everyone has a streaming website or has the access to stream this show.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
to
So
me,
like,
it doesn't make it's no different than if it's a pre-recorded live taping of actual events or a live showing.
so then do you not like, the league is the one miking up the players. So do you not look at that and say, like, we're kind of chancing it anyways, because in the heat of the moment, wires cross, somebody's going to say something, and then we're going to have to answer the bell for it. Like, that's the part I'm not
The fines will
grasping.
be coming left, right, and center.
Right.
Even
So
with
now,
the docuseries.
now you've set the standard. The conversation no longer is about Willie and whether it was immature to give the finger. The conversation now is about DOPS not being consistent across the board, right?
Yeah.
Dursey does it 3 nights later, calling another player an effing pussy, and we're trying to teach about, in minor hockey, we're talking about bullying and all this kind of stuff, and you're going to sit there and say that that's okay. That I have a hard time getting in line with that.
Yeah.
10 games versus the death of their season, way different. Yeah. I mean, the comment is, the finger in preseason or 10 games in versus the death of their season is way different. The death of their season happened when every player was out of the lineup and they just weren't winning games. I mean, like,
Death of the season basically happened end of November.
yeah, I mean,
November, December, basically.
If you want to make it about timing, like, it's funny. So we're still talking about this, but last episode, somebody told us to get over the Marner return. And why are we still talking about the Marner return? It's funny what
point.
Yeah, it's funny what garners the conversation.
Yeah.
But Great Lakes van life, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Like, I hear where people are coming from with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna fine them, fine, that's okay. But be consistent. Have it across the board, right? This is actually a good question. Realistically, what does the record need to be to make the playoffs? There's like 30 games left. So I read this actually this morning.
I was about to say, not sure on the record, but the benchmark for making the playoffs, I believe, is anywhere between 90 to 102 points. But basically, with how tight everything is, that margin of error or that margin of points could increase. And this is all credit to Mike Johnson from last night's broadcast, basically.
Yeah, no, and I read this morning too that to reach their 115 points from last season, they would have to go 29-0-0 in their final 29 games to reach.
Not happening.
Yeah,
They're not going to perfect record.
They'd have to go perfect record, undefeated, to reach 115 points, which they finished with last season. So now the question is just playoffs. Like, you don't care if you get division, you want to just squeak in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, they need 21 games and still hope. they need to pray every night that that movie The Angels in the Outfield, that the Angels come down on the ice and find a way to help them win. What
They
would
need a
Leafs
miracle.
land look like if Mark Hunter was named GM? I don't think Mark Hunter's ever coming back as GM. I think what they have going here in London is kind of where they're at. Both Hunter brothers. I don't think they're looking to get back to the NHL, but it would definitely look a lot different. I think the Dubas era really fucked with this Leaf team. So
Changed a lot of
it changed the complexion.
Yeah,
It changed the complexion of this team a long time ago. Anyways, guys, before we touch on the last few points here, just a quick word from our sponsors over at the Hockey Podcast Network and DraftKings. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bet, which expires in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
A little news. Fan favorite of this podcast, Marshall Riffai, was not at Marley's practice and will travel with the Maple Leafs on their upcoming road trip. So it looks like Marshall Riffai may be getting an opportunity.
I've got his Future Watch auto.
There we go.
Fun fact. I've got his Future Watch auto. I've been holding on to it for when he makes his debut and tucks a Hattie.
And this is where I want to see more of the Marlies get this opportunity where a lot of the veterans aren't playing well. I want to see more of Jacob Quillen. I want to see Marshall Riffai get those opportunities as a third-line defender. I want to see William Villeneuve get called up because I feel like a lot of these players deserve that chance, and you're not going to get anything or get an assessment of them unless you give them a short leash and give them the ice time. Let them play, give them the ice time. I'm all for it. I've been a big fan of Riffai. I've said it many times on here. You said you got his auto. I hope he gets a few games in because this is a rough and tough defender to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, side note, you guys know I'm a card collector. I just actually got, in a break, I got a red-orange Matthew Schaefer rookie from Allure.
Ooh.
So I'm holding on to that right now. I'm going to move it. I'm not going to PC Schaefer, so I'm willing to move that. But it's nice because it's like a color match as well with the Islanders. Yeah, but
that's great.
One guy, no cup podcast. This team has given me irritable bowel syndrome for the whole 55 years of my life. Great show. Appreciate it. One guy, no cup.
Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate the comment. And you're not alone. I'm not 55 yet, but for 37 years I've been it's been hitting me in different ways. So appreciate the comment. John K says the season is cooked. Yeah, we're not.
It's cooked.
It's cooked. It's not looking great. Everything has to go right for this team if they want to even come close.
If they go perfect on the road trip, we're right back in it, baby. But
if they go 29-0, we'll sit at 115 points.
I still find that hard to believe, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anyways. Yeah.
So perfect timing. Yeah.
Gary K says the right thing. I'm in the thought that the Leafs need to get as high up on the standings and not give Boston a high pick. Either that or they go as low as they can, get in the top 5, and they've got a top 5 protected pick.
Or even if they get into that top 11, 12 range and they just win the lottery and move up into the 3 to 5 spot.
Yeah.
That's their best bet.
Great Lakes Van Life says that his son played with Cowan in Strathroy. Easton Cowan should be playing 22 minutes a game for the Marlies. I
I
don't.
think he'll get that with the break.
Yeah, I don't fully disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think like there's been a lot of development issues with this team over the last 5 to 7 years, right? Like Easton Cowan should be in the A. Jacob Quillen, if you're gonna give him an opportunity in the NHL, more than one game, like that's asinine to give him one game and think that he's gonna do anything for you. You got to get these guys comfortable, and to do that, you gotta find a way to give him the opportunity in the AHL. That's why the Alex Steves thing bugs me so much, is that you gave him all this time in the AHL just to not sign him and let him walk.
Yeah.
And now he's playing an integral role for the Boston Bruins, killing penalties, scoring shorthanded goals, getting along with Fraser Minton, who also I can't believe they let go.
Yeah.
It's insane to see what this team has done, and it's really hard to watch. One guy, no cup on the card front. Opeachy comes out today, tomorrow, so looking for Cowan Rainbow Foil Premier. Have a better chance at Aki Berg coming out of retirement to take Philip Myers' spot on D. Oh, I love it.
Oh,
I love
quips,
the comments, man.
These
so
quips.
good. Where have you been for all 221 episodes? We need some more comments like this.
You gotta keep joining in on the chat.
That's amazing. I think the players on the roster at the Olympics break are stuck on the NHL roster. Steves and Holmberg should have been kept. I agree with Holmberg too.
If that's, then that could pose as a problem then.
Holmberg's got 8 goals, I believe, for Tampa right now.
And I think he had around the same amount all season last year with the Leafs, if I'm not mistaken. But
he's seeing more time. More time. Anyways, we got a couple more things here we wanted to discuss before we closed out. Obviously, we talked about how the Leafs are in likely sell mode. So, without getting too in depth, and you guys can comment on this as well and share your thoughts. But if you had to trade one Leaf right now for the best return possible, who would be your guy?
I hate to spoil this, but you will read about this and a lot more as well. Got a post coming out at the Hockey Writers. I was reading up on like Jonas Siegel's post, and he brought up about some players that could be in sell mode. And I hate to do this, but I would love to see this happen. And it sucks because he's been our most consistent defender all year. Oliver Ekman-Larsson should be on the block. I believe that with OEL, the Spike is right there. Spike is with me.
Spike's right there with you.
One, an offensive defender that can play anywhere in the lineup, first pair, second pair, third pair, already has 32 points. He's one of the top puck moving defenders on the Maple Leafs right now, top productive ones, $3.5 million over 2 years, and he has a 16-team no trade list. You could rest assured that he would want to go to a contending team, and I believe a contending team would be able to put forth a first-round pick or a combination of a middle six player or defender or a prospect as well that could make the jump. And these are the same assets that you could sort of recoup and get back that you lost with Brandon Carlo. Because let's face it, moving a top prospect and a first for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I would be more on board with than moving that for a defensive shutdown defender in Brandon Carlo. And for me, if you're willing to get a first-round pick, or if there's any player on this team that has more value and can get you that first-round pick, and if you still somehow, even without OEL, get into that top 5, then you have a top 5 pick and a pick possibly later on in the first round that you could use as leverage for something else, or you can draft a key cornerstone piece. And this draft, to be honest, in the top 20, 25, you can get another top cornerstone piece that could be middle part of the lineup for your roster. And I really think that OEL has the best chance of getting those top prices back. And if Vegas was able to give up a first for Rasmus Anderson, and OEL is kind of on pace, maybe just a little bit more productive than Rasmus Anderson, OEL is worth that first just as much as Rasmus Anderson. So that to me is my take. There is rumors about the Oilers possibly looking at Bobby McMahon as well. You can at least get a couple picks right there.
Yeah, I saw the
We'll
2027 first thrown in there for a Bobby McMahon package.
Edmonton
Certainly,
first,
yeah.
then I'll take it.
Certainly interesting
Yeah.
to see if that would happen. Yeah, I first off, I want to say that I agree. I think OEL is the guy to go. I don't want to see him go. I think he's been incredible for this
Absolutely.
blue line.
Yeah.
But your goal right now is not to get better. Your goal right now is to get better in the future.
And look what happened with Boston last year.
Yeah,
They got better in the short term.
Yeah, exactly. And to kind of play off of that too, it also gives Marshall Riffai a chance. I mean, there's no way you throw Phil Myers in there. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Anyways, to go off your point, Rasmus Anderson, 11 goals, 21 points, 21 assists for 32 points this season. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, 8 goals, 24 assists for 32 points. So the two of them are actually tied in terms of offensive productivity.
There you go.
I see a lot of Morgan Riley here. Great Lakes Van Life, Gary Kay, a lot of Morgan Riley.
Yeah, you're just.
I'm
not
actually
moving
gonna.
on.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride
Unless
with,
he waves, which would be a big surprise.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. Like, family and all, like, I'd be shocked if he does. I'm gonna ride with one guy, no cup here, and this is who I was kind of thinking as well. But Scott Lawton would be my guy. And
that's another hate to say it.
I know,
Yeah.
it stings. It stings.
Yeah.
He does say if Lawton is smart, he will leave. Why sign an extension to play 9 minutes? That's exactly where I
that's what
was
you
going.
said last week.
That's exactly where I was going. And to further my point, we said it last week as well. He's the only guy in touch with the dressing room. What's going on in the room? He's open with the media.
His candid comments after Vegas.
His candid comments. He said, one guy, no cup, says, only freaking guy with a pulse on this team is Lawton. Bunch of prepaid prima donnas with no cojones. Yeah. So, anyways, I agree. I think I think Lawton's the guy to go. He's a pending FA. Why sign an extension? You know, in a team that right now you haven't gotten the opportunity to do what you did in Philly, and that stings.
Yeah.
So I think what he can bring to a potential contender is a lot better. I think people will pay for that kind of bottom six guy, and I think Scott Lawton is a lot more underrated than people give him credit. We talked about his face-offs a couple weeks back. To go on that is you got face-offs. You've got potential for offensive production and a guy who's willing to go in the grimy areas and play hard and win the puck battles. I think you have to look at him. And again, it stings to say that, but I'd have a hard time letting him go. Spike, last one here, it says, I dangle Stolars too. 100%, I agree. I would see what you can get. You've got two capable goaltenders. Hildeby has shown you some resilience this season. And right now, Stoley with the injury problems, I just I said this before he signed his extension. I was iffy about a long-term deal with him. I like Stolars. I like to compete. I like the communication on the ice. I don't like the injuries. That one, especially in a role like a goaltender, like, you cannot have that injury history.
You know what would be a big time gamble? Not gamble, but like a big time move for the Leafs. And I'm kind of surprised that the Minnesota Wild are kind of throwing it out there, but Jesper Wallstedt,
I saw that
possibly being available.
I saw that. So
because right now you got you got two 1A 1B starters, and I don't understand why you would want to give him up, because that guy is going to be a stud in the future.
Yeah. I think their issue right now is that they're banking on Philip Gustafson being the guy, right? And you have a 1A 1B,
and you have a lot of question marks in your own net. You could at least give up Stolars and or Hildeby and give him a little bit more depth, because maybe Stolars isn't the backup that you think. Maybe Hildeby is going to be a backup in the future, but you know what you're getting in Wallstedt.
Yeah. One guy, no cup podcast. No offense, I would approach Matthews because right now he's in his Quinn Hughes mode. This team won't turn around in time to make him want to extend, which is fine with me. He's not a leader, never was. Okay, so that leads into our next conversation then.
Yeah.
The
Final point.
Matthew Barnaby was on Leafs Lunch, and he said he made the comment that the Leafs will never win the cup with Matthews as their captain. He said we need to let go of the narrative that Matthews is even close to McDavid. McDavid's at 90 plus points this season. McDavid's not even a point a game guy. Has a hard time reaching that 100 point plateau throughout his regular seasons as well. Peter, before I say anything, I want to get your take on this. What is your take on Austin Matthews, the C on the jersey, the leadership? Is this team ever going to come out of the funk with Matthews at the helm?
Again, I keep saying this. He says the right things, but the emotion and tone in his voice really doesn't quite reflect that in all the post games and everything like that. And it just kind of feels like, yeah, like the whole Mitch Marner thing, the post game is just like, yeah, we need to come out with urgency. We need to be more intense. We need to win pucks, everything, da 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 da. Check off the cliche checklist of everything that you need to do. And I wrote something about this too. Like, you say this time and time again, but at what point is it actually going to sink in and you actually need to step up and play like the player that you're supposed to be? I get it. He is putting up the points, but right now the discussion is this now the guy that you actually win it? Because we're seeing right now that, yeah, he had good chemistry with Marner, but we're seeing what he's doing right now with Domi and McMahon. You see spurts of that, but you don't see the consistency. Like, even before, like when I saw the numbers for McMahon and Domi when they were producing, like, shot attempts, expected goals, it was kind of decent. But now that's kind of tailed off, mainly because this whole entire team has tailed off completely. But at this point, you have the C on your job. It's up to you to lead by example. That's what everyone else on the team looks to you for. They want guidance. They want to follow their leader into battle. And the fact that Berube had to have a meeting with the leadership group heading into the game against Buffalo, where they said, you know what? This is one of those games that is a must-win game. And then what happens? 7-4. Like, I get Matthews looked good in the first period, but it's like when you need him to try to still take control of a game, there are times where he does, and there are times where he does it right now. And this is completely far off from before when he had the C, when he was absolutely dominant time and time and time again. And we get that he was dealing with an injury. We get that the last year was a little bit of a write-off as well. This is a guy that scored almost 70 goals in one season, has won an MVP, has won, Rocket Richards. This guy has shown what he can do. Right now, we're just not seeing it. And that I shouldn't say MVP. I think it was like Art Ross. I'm going to double check on that. But overall, like the demeanor that we see with Matthews right now, the tone and everything like that, it's just not up to captain level.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a potential to be that. We're just not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much of it is like give him another off season without Marner, preparing for the season ahead. I'm not gonna sit here and be naive and say like I think he's a solid captain. Like, his play as of late has been better. We discussed that. More skating, more engaged, more shooting, more back to the Matthews of old. But I
was
think
about to say too, the play is different from the off ice comments.
Yeah, there's a part of me though that's like, take the C away and let him just focus on the game, right? Like, why make him the captain when he was a 69 goal scorer wearing an A? Let him answer the bell as an A. He's still part of your leadership group. Like, to be honest, so much gets put into wearing a C or an A or whatever on the jersey, but like, there's a part of me that's like, man, let your best players be your best players. Let your guys like Scott Lawton wear the letters and answer the bell after the game's over, right? Like,
I was about to say, Adam Lowry is not that highly offensive gifted player, and he wears that C on his chest with pride for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah,
he's not the flashiest player, but this is a guy that leads with his character. Maybe you go that direction now.
No, 100%. So I think that like that to me is something that I think the Leafs have to look at. I just think like, to go out right now, the guy's been in the league for 9 years, 10 years. How long did it take Ovechkin to win a cup?
You're
to go out and say that they're never going to win the cup,
right?
Yeah, I think he was year 12. Anyways, I think to go out and say that he's not going to win a cup as the captain of the Leafs. I mean, look, Barnaby's been in the room. He probably knows better than you and I, but at the same time, like, you need to build around the star players that you have as well. And I don't think that one, Brad Treliving, or two, Kyle Dubas did a good job of that. Kyle Dubas steered away from getting that solid defense. And now you've got Brad Treliving, who's got that solid defense minus the injuries, and they don't have the
skill and flash,
tenacity and stuff up front that they need.
Yeah.
So until you put it all together, like teams like Colorado have, even like look at Montreal and what Montreal is doing.
Fantastic.
Like
I mean, this is what the Maple Leafs should have been worried about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because now Buffalo's coming around, Detroit's coming around, Montreal's coming around. Tampa Bay is still good somehow. Boston's turning things around still.
Yeah.
Where does that leave you now?
No, 100%. 100%. So last couple comments here, guys, and we're going to close it out. The fan base is in a death spiral. MLSE has too much money to not be able to address holes. Their spending power is king and obvious. Yeah, I think you mean is lacking. I could be wrong. Is lacking. Their spending power is lacking. And I do agree. Great Lakes Van Life, who also just let us know in the comments that his cousins are the Grattons. Remember Chris Gratton?
Wow.
Remember Chris Gratton?
I remember Chris Gratton.
What a fucking animal. What an animal.
You just had to look over just to
I gotta make sure, for those in the comments, I gotta look over and see if the kids are listening. I don't want to flip the bird and them see it, right? MLC needs to either sign Matthews long term or build a team around him or move on. I 100% agree. You got to make your decision now, and you got to let him in on it and let him know, like, this is what this is what we're gonna do moving forward. Montreal has everything but a goalie. They do have a goalie though.
Jacob Fowler, he's just still in that little bit of a phase, yeah.
And Dobesh, if that's your tandem moving forward,
that is.
Yeah. They right now going to the deadline, they should be looking to move Montembeault and looking to go with those two moving forward, because that's how you're going to take this team over the hump. Montreal is going to be a scary team for the next decade.
They already are.
They're going to be a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
Sundin had Roberts and Tucker and a lot of character guys to back him up. Had McGillney too for a little while. Matthews needs the same type of backup. 100%. I couldn't agree. Matthews needs like a Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Matthews needs a Tom Wilson. You need or like a Cal Clutterbuck or somebody. I would go. I mean, you kind of have it in Matthew Nyes, but like how sweet would it be to have like Matthews on the top line? Yeah, Matthews on the top line with Matthew Nyes and Tom Wilson. Yeah. Tell me that line's not doing damage on a nightly basis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, before we close it out here, first of all, appreciate all the interaction this week, guys. It was amazing to have that conversation. We love talking with all fans of all different fan bases. Nyes and Domi. Yeah, Domi's not the guy though. I just don't see Domi being the guy. Like,
Domi picks the worst spots to send the message though.
Yeah. Little scrambled sometimes. Anyways, thank you. Great show. We appreciate it. Thank you, Great Lakes, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully we talk soon. Before we let it go here, I just want to say I'm also raising money for the Easter Seals of Ontario here through the Toronto Maple Leafs. Aiming for $350. That's my goal. I'm up to 175 now. So if you want to DM me, if you're interested in donating, I would appreciate that. And I can send you a link. Also, guys, as always, we are doing a donation for the Princess Margaret Hospital at the end of the season. It's $1.50 for every goal that Matthews has scored in the preseason, the regular season, and if they make the playoffs, we will donate $1.50 for every goal. We did it last year for the Goudreau Brothers Foundation. Mm-hmm. We're doing it this year for the Princess Margaret Hospital for cancer, because everyone's been affected by cancer at some time in their lives, whether it be themselves or a close friend or family member. Great Lakes Van Life, we appreciate the subscription. We're trying to hit that 250 mark as well before the end of the season. And anyways, if you want to tag along with that donation, you're more than welcome to. We don't ask people to. Mm-hmm. We donate what we can, because we think it's important to give back to the community. We're small-time podcasters who just want to have an impact as well on the communities around us. So that's what we look to do. Outside of that, Peter, there's a big week ahead for the Maple Leafs. If you've joined us on TikTok, thank you. If you joined us here on YouTube as well, make sure you guys hammer that like button, hammer that subscription button, and join the conversation on a weekly basis. We're here every Wednesday, usually, unless something comes up. Life gets in the way sometimes. Yeah. Outside of that, anything you want to throw in there before we close it out for the week?
No, really love the discussion in the comment section. You know, we even hashed it out with a lot of the topics this week too. Like, I mean, like you said, this is a big week coming up for the Maple Leafs, and we everyone's going to say this will decide the season, but I think this homestand basically decided the season right now. So this is just a not measuring stick, like, you know, stretch before the Olympic break, but this is one where they need to actually buckle down and actually regain some ground if and when they can, because everybody else seems to be winning right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Every point counts in this these standings today. Even those overtime losses mean something big. So if you can get to overtime for a tie, that's super important as well. Anyways, Gary, thank you. Great show. Glad there was a lot of action Gary. In the chat. Yeah, it was good to see. And home of the Hunter Brothers, Petrolia for Great Lakes Van Life. We appreciate you joining. We look forward to talking more as the episodes continue to roll out. Guys, until next week, we'll leave it here for episode 222 of the Sticks in the Six podcast. And you're listening to our good friend Alex Hobson and his hit single, 25.